Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today, once again, we have Kamyar Rezaie with us, and we talked in August with Kamyar and had a very interesting conversation about lending. And we both decided that we have grown much younger in the last 3 months because nothing's going on. Well, I mean, we're going to talk about rates and the war and the shutdown, but that's had very little effect on our aging process, right?
Absolutely not.
All right. So give us a little update on rates and so forth and what's happening out in the lending world today.
Sure, Phil, Bruce, thank you for having me on the show again. Rates have come down a bit. Prime, they have reduced by a quarter, but Prime does not, determine mortgage rates. It determines the short-term lending, like on HELOCs, auto loans, business lines, and so forth. But the 10-year bond is what determines the rates, and they've come down a little bit. The banks have reduced their rates more than how much the 10-year bond has come down. There are banks offering rates in the mid-fives as of today. I have seen rates as of high fours, low fives on interest only with clients that are, have more than, say, $2 million in reserves. So, banks have a lot of money and they just need to lend right now. And these are banks that qualify with 2 years of tax returns. And, the more reserves you have, the lower the rate you'll get.
Wow. So that is very interesting. So basically, it comes down to supply and demand. And right now, the banks have a lot of supply, and
Correct.
they'd like to get it out there. They've had sort of pinned up demand for the last couple of years, and now it seems like they're ready to go.
They are ready to go. They are loosening tight, some of the credit regulations a little bit, depending on the file. But they want to give money out. If you're qualified, they will give money out. I'm seeing it.
So how about construction lending? Anything happening there?
It's the same. The books are opening up. There's more construction lending happening. There's more lenders that are coming out. But what I do see in the market, majority of the construction lending is done with bridge loans and hard money loans versus conventional loans.
Oh, that's interesting. So a little higher rate and shorter term, but there is starting to be a little bit of looseness happening in the construction world.
Definitely. And you do see more, cranes and people, certain streets, there's a lot more construction being done. But eventually, all those, people will need to go into permanent loans.
Yeah, right. So in a year or two or whenever their project's done, they're going to have to go refinance and find permanent loans.
Correct.
Yeah. And hopefully by that time, rates will be maybe a little lower. We'll see what happens.
God willing.
We got some factors happening here, but so tell us what's happening with the tariffs.
So I think, the tariffs have settled in. People are getting used to them. It's not like a new, news article every day and it's scaring people, the banks, everything. It's just settling in. It's just something that we have to deal with. It's going to be part of our life, and, every week or every other week, there can be a new tariff or reduction in tariff. But, it's becoming old news. People are getting used to it.
Yeah.
And it's not really affecting the real estate market in any way or form. It might be more affecting the stock market. But in terms of real estate, I don't see it really affecting it at this moment.
So yeah, that's nice. I mean, you're right. I haven't heard any tariff news really of late. Obviously, the big news right now is the war and the peace settlement and so forth. And it's probably hard to tell exactly what's happening there, but perhaps that's having an effect.
It's going to give more comfort, less fighting and just less aggression, I think, for people, especially for the international clients that, fly and maybe their source of income is from that part of the world. So it's give them a little bit of, ease. But overall, I think, a lot of the previous wars we've also had has not really affected the market, the real estate market, for us, unless it's a big catastrophe.
Right. So then that brings us up to the other big news item of today, which is the famous shutdown, government shutdown.
Now, that's a big influence, right? So you have FHA loans which are, by the government, have to be done, insured by the government. And you have mainly the SBA loans. And the SBA loans are the biggest factor. And on the commercial side, you might be at the tail end of it. You've signed loan docs and, the lender can't fund. They don't have the SBA approval.
Oh, wow.
So now you need the seller to extend escrow. Do they have to? Should they? I mean, there's a lot of questions there. I mean, hopefully a lot of sellers are really understanding and giving the extension of time needed.
Well, yeah, but yeah, if I mean, SBA typically take longer time anyway, right?
Correct.
And now all of a sudden, so is the case that no money's coming out, or is it coming out very slowly? What's happening with SBA?
SBA, if they have not received their SBA number or like on a 7A PLP number, they cannot fund the SBA loan. It's on hold.
It's completely shut down then.
Correct.
Wow. I mean, that seems sort of counterintuitive to me. Like, okay, yeah, it is government money and they want to, limit government money, but this is money that's actually productive in terms of building more business and having people own their own properties. It seems like a good thing to have.
And it creates jobs.
And it creates jobs. Yeah, right. So anyway, that's an interesting factor. Well, maybe hopefully in a week or so they'll come to their senses, but it doesn't sound like it's going to happen anytime soon.
No, there's a lot of, everybody just, trying to prove a point, and who's stronger. But unfortunately, it's hurting not just the local economy, nationwide, and it's whole going to affect the global force. They say up to date, it could have cost us or might have cost us already $1 trillion.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, Trump said he's, saved us trillions of dollars with the tariffs, right?
Correct.
So anyway, that sounds like a terrible thing to try and counterbalance, but we can only do what we can do to affect the world.
Right. I meing, it's all about, being, the transactions that we're involved with, being able to hold them and keeping them alive until this government shutdown, is ended so we can fund these SBA loans and so forth and just, really move on. I mean, now you have a lot of IRS workers that are not working. So on a lot of deals where the lender has to pull the 4506T, that can delay the process on any type of loan.
Wow. Is there any alternative to, well, let's pick just SBA loans. Can somebody shift to something else or do a temporary loan?
They can do the state-sponsored loans if they qualify, but then it might be a little bit different of underwriting. It takes time. And imagine if a seller's only been in the transactions 45, 60 days, and they need another 30. Are they willing to wait? Contractually, are they obligated to wait? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered, which I think maybe attorneys will get involved.
So how many SBA loans do you have in the works right now?
Right now, 8.
8. Oh, gosh. Wow. And they're all kind of in limbo, right?
They are in limbo at this moment.
Oh, wow. That's interesting news. Well, all right. So can we have any kind of crystal ball prediction of what's going to happen here?
It's very hard. The last time there was a long, government shutdown was the last tenure when Donald Trump was president, and it was 35 days. And we definitely don't want it to be that long or longer than that, which potentially some saying might be the case, which can be very detrimental to the economy.
All right.
It's a very hard crystal ball to predict at this point.
All right. Well, okay, we've covered all the bases now. What else can we talk about in the famous lending world?
Lending world, I think, as I was mentioning earlier, I think they're going to loosen up. There's going to be a lot more programs available, either QM or non-QM, which is like the bank statement loans and the DSCR loans. I think that they're going to be able to get higher loan to values with lower FICO scores. I think the market is going to start opening up, and there's going to be more options.
No, I've refreshed my memory. You don't do residential side?
I do at times, only with my referral. My past clients bring me deals, I do them, but I keep up to date with it.
Yeah, so mostly residential.
Correct. No, mostly commercial.
I'm sorry. Yeah, commercial.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we've covered what kind of loans are you seeing the most of these days in terms of commercial side? Are you seeing purchases or lines of credit? What's out there?
It's purchases, mainly purchases, and then lines of credit, and then the refines once starting. With the rates coming down, and hopefully they're going to tend to go lower. We're going to see a good refinance, I think, market in the next 2 years. All those people those last 3 years who got the higher rates 3 years ago or 5 years ago, who are now are going to go into a variable rate or their prepayments up. It's time for them to refinance.
Yeah, right. Their loans were coming due, and so they have to find a new loan.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they don't want to go variable.
So what are you seeing out there in terms of purchases? Are there any trends? Are you seeing mostly office buildings, industrial, retail?
Mainly SBA loans, obviously, but retail, office building, industrials, a little bit less, but a lot of owner occupied.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So people are, is this because the purchase price is coming down these days and people are trying to buy their own properties?
I don't necessarily see too much of coming down depending on the metropolitan area, but especially in LA, I really haven't seen that much of a reduction, I would say. But it's just people are realizing, maybe they should own their own place, and pay it off over time and get all the tax savings of the interest expense and so forth.
Yeah, no, it's a big tax relief to own your own property for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And that's key to the American dream, to pay it off and have a paid off property, for retirement.
And hopefully they can hire more people that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More job force and, help grow the economy, depending on, based on the labor statistics, the small businesses employ 53% of the workforce.
Wow. Yeah. No, it's a huge number. So it's a big factor. So if you can own your own property, it's even better.
Absolutely. And just help grow and keep the workforce, employ more people for the local economy and nationwide.
Well, this is very interesting. I think we're gonna update again in 3 months or as soon as the government shutdown is over or whatever new news comes out. So I think for our listeners, this is very helpful for me to hear all the news in the lending world.
Definitely. Hopefully the shutdown is done soon and we can get back, everybody can get back on their feet and, move the economy along to a better place.
So I agree completely. So Kamyar, where can people get a hold of you?
They can either call me at the office, 818-703-9337, on my mobile, 818-822-8044, or via email, krezaie@wembleysinc.com.
All right. So if you're looking for some money, if you're looking for a loan, you got to call Kamyar. So I appreciate this, and I think we're going to be talking on a very regular basis because things are changing so quickly.
Very rapidly.
Yeah. So great to have you again, and I look forward to talking to you again shortly.
Likewise, Bruce. Have a good day.
You too. Talk soon.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.